Hello and welcome to this new edition of News Today. Without delay, let's have a look at the headlines first. Cloudburst followed by flash floods wreaked widespread destruction in Himachal Pradesh. India faces foreign policy dilemma in the West Asia. Report titled Sea Level Rise Scenarios and Indentation Maps for Selected Indian Coastal Cities released. Union Law Ministry released a report on state of infrastructure in district courts. Scientists identify Ladakh as potential site for Martian or lunar analog research station. According to a study, global methane emissions are rising at the fastest rate in decades. In our first news, widespread destruction has been reported in the Kullu, Mandi and Shimla regions of Himachal Pradesh following a recent cloudburst event as per the District Disaster Management Authority. Cloudbursts refer to particularly heavy precipitation occurring in a short period over a limited geographical area. According to the Indian Meteorological Department, any unexpected precipitation exceeding 100 mm per hour over a geographical region of approximately 20 to 30 square kilometers can be categorized as a cloudburst. The vulnerability of Himalayas to cloudbursts is exacerbated by the region's topography and orography, which force moist air to rise rapidly, causing intense condensation and precipitation. Some studies suggest that cloudbursts mostly occur in low elevation, high temperature zones of the topoclimate regimes of the Himalayas, which receive low rainfall and exhibit high land surface temperatures between 18 degrees Celsius and 28 degrees Celsius in July and August. The consequences of cloudbursts are severe and include flash floods, landslides, and significant damage to infrastructure such as roads and bridges. The recent events in Himachal Pradesh have led to such devastating impacts, leaving many areas in disarray. In response to these threats, the National Disaster Management Plan of 2019 outlines several measures for cloudburst disaster risk reduction. Key strategies include understanding risk, which involves compiling and maintaining data on cloudburst events and conducting landslide hazard zonation. Efforts should be made to repair and maintain natural drainage systems and rivulets to ensure the unhindered flow of storm water, thereby reducing the risk of flash floods. Enhancing the capabilities of local bodies to prepare for and cope with cloudburst events is crucial, including promoting the use of insurance and risk transfer mechanisms. In conclusion, as the frequency and intensity of such events seem to be on the rise, it is imperative that we take proactive measures to mitigate their impacts. Ahead in the news, in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape, India faces a significant foreign policy dilemma in West Asia. Recent escalations of tensions between Iran and Israel following the assassination of leaders of Hamas and Hezbollah, which are the groups backed by Iran, have prompted the United States and other regional powers to intensify diplomatic efforts to prevent an all-out war. For India, the situation presents a challenging balancing act due to its crucial interest in the region. India's stake in West Asia are substantial and multifaceted. The Gulf, West Asia, North Africa region contributes over two-thirds of India's total imports of crude oil, making energy security a paramount concern. Additionally, the Indian diaspora in West Asia, numbering around 8 to 9 million, significantly impacts the Indian economy through remittances. Countries like the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Oman are among the top sources of inward remittances, highlighting the economic interdependence between India and these nations. Strategically, India is invested in several key projects in the region, such as the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor and the Chabahar port in Iran, which are vital for enhancing trade and connectivity. India's foreign policy towards West Asia is guided by several principles. The Gulf region is considered part of India's extended neighborhood, while Iran is viewed as part of its proximate neighborhood. Adopted in the year 2005, the Look West policy aims to deepen cooperation with West Asian countries and align with India's national interest in the region. Furthermore, India has adopted a policy of de-hyphenation in its relation with Israel and Palestine, emphasizing separate and independent diplomatic relations with each country based on merit. In summary, as India navigates its foreign policy challenges in West Asia, it must carefully balance its energy security, economic ties, and strategic interests while maintaining robust diplomatic relations with both Iran and Israel.
A recent report titled Sea Level Rise Scenarios and Inundation Maps for Selected Indian Coastal Cities has been released by the Bangalore-based think tank, the Center for Study of Science, Technology and Policy. This report provides crucial information on the changes in sea levels affecting 15 Indian coastal cities and towns, highlighting the urgent need for adaptation and mitigation strategies. Sea level rise, or SLR, refers to the gradual increase in the average height of world's oceans and seas. Between 1901 and 2018, the global average sea level rose by 15 to 25 centimeter, reaching a record high in 2022. This trend is predicted to continue, with sea levels expected to rise by 15 mm per year by 2100. The report underscores the gravity of this issue by presenting alarming statistics and projections. Among the cities studied, Mumbai witnessed the maximum sea level rise of 4.44 cm between 1987 and 2021. The report predicts that more than 10% of land in Mumbai, Yanam and Thoothukudi will be submerged by 2040. An increasing trend in sea level rise was also observed for Mumbai, Kochi and Mormugao on the west coast, and Haldia, Paradeep, Visakhapatnam and Chennai on east coast. Several factors contribute to sea level rise, including ocean thermal expansion, where oceans absorb over 90% of the heat trapped by accumulating greenhouse gases, and the melting of ice from glaciers, ice caps, and ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica. The impacts of sea level rise are far-reaching and severe. Increased coastal erosion leads to loss of beaches and coastal habitats. Freshwater salinization contaminates drinking water supplies and reduces agricultural output. Coastal ecosystems such as mangroves, salt marshes, and coral reefs, which are crucial for fisheries and biodiversity, are also at risk. To address these challenges, adaptation and mitigation strategies must be implemented. Coastal defenses such as seawalls and surge barriers can help protect vulnerable areas. Innovative solutions like floating homes, as experimented by South Korea and the Maldives, offer new ways to live with rising waters. Efficient city planning strategies such as spawn cities and the use of technology like digital twins can enhance urban resilience. Achieving net zero targets and limiting global mean temperature increases in line with 2015 Paris Agreement are essential to mitigating the long-term impacts of sea level rise. In conclusion, as we continue to face the escalating threat of sea level rise, it is imperative that policymakers, communities, and individuals take proactive steps to adapt to and mitigate its effects. Ahead, let's discuss an important topic that affects the very foundation of our justice system, the infrastructure in the district courts. Recently, the Union Ministry of Law and Justice published a report titled Empirical Study to Evaluate the Delivery of Justice Through Improved Infrastructure. This report shines a light on various challenges and potential solutions for enhancing the efficiency of our district courts. Let's start with the key findings of the report. First, there is a significant issue with basic infrastructure. About 37.7% of judicial officers have reported a lack of adequate space in courtrooms. Moving on to human resources, there is a shortage of judicial officers compounded by inadequate training and skill development, which hinders effective case management and timely disposition. When it comes to digital infrastructure, there is a notable lack of computerization in the offices of District Legal Services Authority and Taluk Legal Services Committee. Advocates often struggle with the technicalities of the digitization process, while support staff face increased burdens due to the e-court missions. Additionally, district courts face other issues such as lack of cooperation and coordination among departments and the temporary or casual employment of support staff, which leads to inadequate support within the court system. With these challenges in mind, the report offers key recommendations to address them. It suggests establishing an independent IT department equipped with the latest hardware and software, staffed with trained personnel to manage and service district and taluka courts. There's also a call for more emphasis on sustaining filed cases in electronic form to boost efficiency. Furthermore, the report recommends creating separate civil and criminal courts, each headed by separate judicial officers to streamline operations. Now let's discuss some initiatives that have already been put in place to improve district courts. The centrally sponsored scheme for the development of infrastructure facilities for the judiciary, which began in 1993-94, aims to address the physical infrastructure needs of the courts. Additionally, the National Mission for Justice Delivery and Legal Reforms, launched in 2011, seeks to increase access to justice by reducing delays and arrears in the system while enhancing accountability through structural changes. The e-Courts Integrated Mission Mode project focuses on the computerization of district and subordinate courts with the goal of improving access to justice through technology. In conclusion, the report from the Union Law Ministry highlights critical issues within our district courts but also provides a roadmap for meaningful improvements. In our next news, we'll explore a groundbreaking development in the world of space research. Today, we are diving into an exciting identification of Ladakh as a potential site for a Martian or lunar analog research station. But what exactly does that mean? An analog research station is a place that has physical similarities to a planet or planetary body or extreme space environments. This allows scientists to conduct research and test new technologies in conditions that mimic those of space. Currently, there are 33 analog research stations worldwide, with none located in the Indian subcontinent. Some notable examples include BIOS-3 in Russia, HERA and Biosphere-2 in the USA, Mars-1 in the Netherlands, and DMARS in Israel. So why do we need these analog sites? They are crucial for field testing new technologies such as robotic equipment, vehicles, power generation, and infrastructure, which are essential for prolonged space missions. These sites also help us study and simulate human habitats in such environments and examine associated behavioral effects like isolation and confinement, team dynamics, and menu fatigue. Simulation tests are essential as they are designed to be standalone units capable of handling all contingencies. Now let's explore why Ladakh is an ideal candidate for a Martian or lunar analog. Ladakh boasts geomorphological similarities to an early Mars and Moon. Its dry, cold, arid desert landscape is abundant with rocky ground, vast flatlands devoid of vegetation, dunes, and drainage networks. It even features segregated ground ice and permafrost, along with rock glaciers. In terms of geochemical similarities, Ladakh has volcanic rocks, saline lakes, and hydrothermal systems that closely resemble the Martian surface. Moreover, Ladakh presents exobiological similarities, including permafrost, which indicates the presence of water in the past. The region also experiences increased UV and cosmic radiation flux, reduced atmospheric pressure, hot springs rich in boron, and sufficient isolation. Moving on, let's talk about Ladakh as the astronomical hub of India. The Indian Astronomical Observatory is located in Hanle, Ladakh, and houses an optical infrared telescope. This location has also become a center for astrotourism, with an area of roughly 22 kilometers around Hanle being designated as the Hanle Dark Sky Reserve. Ladakh has hosted various space programs, including NASA's Spaceward Bound India program in 2016 and field validations of the ExoMars 2020 Habit instrument. In conclusion, Ladakh's unique geographical and atmospheric conditions makes it an excellent candidate for a Martian or lunar analog research station.
Ahead in the news, in a concerning development for our climate, a recent study conducted by an international team of experts has highlighted that global methane emissions have been rising at an unprecedented rate since 2006, with a significant spike observed since 2020. This alarming trend is expected to continue throughout the remainder of the 2020s, posing serious implications for global warming. The study reveals that anthropogenic methane emissions from the period 1850 to 1900 until 2019 have been responsible for approximately 65% as much warming as carbon dioxide. The rapid increase in methane growth rates in the early 2020s is largely attributed to the response of wetlands to warming, with additional contributions from fossil fuel use. Methane, a short-lived climate pollutant, is the second largest contributor to climate warming after carbon dioxide. Methane emissions come from both natural and anthropogenic sources. Natural sources such as wetlands produce about 30% of methane emissions, while anthropogenic sources including agriculture, fossil fuel extraction, and waste management account for the remaining emissions. Agriculture in particular contributes around 20%, while fossil fuel extraction accounts for 30%. If we talk about its impacts, then it has a global warming potential approximately 28 times higher than carbon dioxide, making its impact on global warming particularly significant. But its impact extends beyond its contribution to global warming. It can lead to the formation of ground-level or tropospheric ozone, a harmful air pollutant, and methane leaks can pose explosion hazards. Recognizing the need to mitigate these effects, several global initiatives have been launched. The Global Methane Pledge commits to a collective 30% reduction in methane emissions by 2030. Methane observations such as the Earth's Surface Mineral Dust Source Investigation and the Airborne Visible Infrared Imaging Spectrometer, Next Generation, play a crucial role in monitoring emissions. Other initiatives include the Global Methane Initiative 2004 and the Methane Alert and Response System. India too is taking steps to address methane emissions through various programs. The National Mission on Sustainable Agriculture, Direct Seeded Rice and Crop Diversification Program, GOBAR or Galvanizing Organic Bioagro Resources, DHAN scheme, and the National Livestock Mission are among the initiatives aimed at reducing methane emissions in the country. In conclusion, as global methane emissions continue to rise, it is imperative for nations to intensify their efforts to mitigate this potent greenhouse gas.
Today's place in the news brings us to Somalia with its capital Mogadishu. Somalia is in the spotlight as a suicide bombing and gun attack resulted in death of many civilians in Mogadishu. Let's dive into its political features. Somalia is located on the Horn of Africa. It is the easternmost country in continental Africa. Its bordering countries include Djibouti in the northwest, Ethiopia in the west, and Kenya in the southwest. Its bordering water bodies are Gulf of Aden and Indian Ocean. Additionally, regarding its geographical features, the highest peak is Mount Shimbiris, the major rivers are Juba and Shabelle. The coastal plains that run parallel to the Gulf of Aden are known as Guban. The Bur region is notable for its rich presence of Inselbergs, which are isolated hills, ridges, or small mountains that rise abruptly from an otherwise level plain.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Chief Justice of India has underlined the concept of substantive equality in the state of Punjab versus Devinder Singh case 2024, subclassification in ST/SC reservation. Substantive equality refers to the principle that the law must account for the different backgrounds and historical injustices faced by persons or groups. Union Minister for Home Affairs urged the countrymen to hoist the tricolour at their homes under Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. The hoisting or displays of the Indian national flag are governed by the Flag Code of India 2002 as amended in 2021 and 2022. Yen carry trade has been in focus in the past few trading sessions in the wake of the sell-off in shares of US technology giants. A carry trade is an investment strategy most often associated with foreign currency trading. Union Minister said that Village Defence Guards or VDGs have been provided with sophisticated weapons to deal with rising incidents of terror in the Jammu region. Constituted under VDG Scheme 2022 to organize small group of volunteer armed civilians in identified villages in Jammu division to instill sense of self-protection and ensure safety and security of such villages, infrastructure, etc. Recently, 5th ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement Joint Committee and related meetings for review of ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement were held in ASEAN Secretariat, Jakarta, Indonesia. ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement entered into force in 2010, signed in 2009. Forest Advisory Committee has exempted surveys involving drilling and felling of up to 100 trees for hydro and other developmental projects in forest areas from taking prior forest clearance. FAC is a statutory body under Forest Conservation Act 1980 under the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The elusive four-ringed butterfly resurfaces in Arunachal Pradesh's Namdapha National Park, the country's easternmost tiger reserve bordering Myanmar. Butterflies belong to the insect order Lepidoptera. They can be found in nearly all types of habitats and some spend part of their lives underground. Researchers using data from AstroSat discovered a vampire star named WOCS 9005 in star cluster M67. Vampire stars known as blue straggler stars defy simple models of stellar evolution and show characteristics of younger stars. Before we sign off, let's challenge your understanding in today's installment of Test Your Knowledge. Thank you for joining us. We hope you found this episode of News Today engaging. For the solution to the quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.